Deep in the swampy heart of Louisiana, where the bayou breathes slow and heavy under curtains of Spanish moss, stands Willowbrook Plantation. What was once a proud white mansion with tall columns and wide verandas is now a rotting skeleton, its paint peeled away like dead skin, its windows blind and black. The live oaks around it lean inward as if trying to hide the house from the world. No birds sing there after sunset. Even the cicadas fall silent when night settles over the grounds. The story begins in 1858. Eleanor Hawthorne, 19 years old and newly married, arrived at Willowbrook as the bride of Colonel Reginald Hawthorne, a man whose fortune was measured in cotton bales and human lives. Eleanor was delicate, pale, with long dark hair and eyes that seemed to carry a sorrow older than herself. She had been given to the colonel the way land is given, without consent, without love. Reginald was brutal. His temper was a living thing, fed daily on whiskey and power. He took what he wanted from the enslaved women in the quarters, fathered children he refused to name, and expected Eleanor to smile through it all while giving him a legitimate heir. But every pregnancy ended the same way, a tiny, silent body wrapped in cloth and buried in secret behind the cabins. With each loss, something inside Eleanor withered a little more. By the summer of 1861, war drums were echoing from the north, but Willowbrook carried on as if nothing could touch it. One humid night, Eleanor climbed the narrow stairs to the attic seeking quiet. There she found Lila, a young enslaved girl heavy with child, trembling in the shadows. Lila was carrying the colonel's baby, and Reginald had beaten her for crying out in pain. For the first time in years, something flared in Eleanor's chest: rage, pity, recognition. She confronted her husband in the grand hallway beneath the chandelier. Words became shouts. Shouts became violence. Reginald struck her hard across the face. She stumbled backward, caught her heel on the hem of the gray silk morning dress she still wore for her last lost child, and fell. She tumbled down the entire length of the sweeping staircase, each impact a dull crack against oak and bone. When she landed at the bottom, her neck was twisted at an impossible angle, but she was still breathing, shallow, wet, ragged breaths that lasted 3 agonizing days. In her final hours, Eleanor's eyes stayed fixed on the ceiling, lips moving soundlessly. Those who tended her swore they heard whispers carried on the stale air, curses, promises, pleas. On the third night, a storm broke over the plantation, thunder like cannon fire, lightning that turned the rooms white. At the stroke of midnight, Eleanor exhaled once and did not draw breath again. They buried her quickly in the family plot, still wearing the blood-stained gray dress. That same night, the first sightings began. After the war came, Willowbrook burned and bled and fell silent. The colonel disappeared, some say murdered in the fields, others say he took his own life in the master bedroom. The enslaved people scattered into freedom. The house was left to rot. But Eleanor stayed. Over the generations, those who dared enter Willowbrook told the same stories. Footsteps on the grand staircase at the exact hour of her fall. A sudden drop in temperature that made breath hang like frost even in July. The sound of a woman rocking slowly in an empty chair, humming a lullaby that curdled into a sob. And sometimes, only sometimes, you saw her. She appears as a tall, thin figure in a tattered gray gown that drags across the floor though her feet never quite touch it. Her face is pale and sharp, cheekbones standing out like blades. Her eyes are hollow, endless, filled with a grief so vast it pulls at you like quicksand. She drifts through the halls cradling nothing in her arms, rocking the invisible child she could never hold alive. Those who have stood too close say the air around her reeks of river mud and old blood. They feel her sorrow pour into them, heavy, suffocating, until their own hearts ache with losses that were never theirs. Some collapse weeping for reasons they cannot name. Others wake nights later screaming about tiny graves and cold hands. A treasure hunter in the 1920s climbed the staircase alone at midnight. His friends heard a woman scream, then his own. They found him crumpled at the bottom, neck broken, eyes frozen wide, mouth open as if still trying to scream. A family squatting there in the 1950s fled before dawn after the mother saw the gray lady standing over her sleeping children, reaching out with translucent fingers as though to stroke their hair or take them. Even now, in the 21st century, people who venture inside with cameras and voice recorders capture faint whispers, "My child, where is my child?" Doors slam without wind. Shadows stretch too long across moonlit walls. The Gray Lady does not chase. She does not speak clearly. She simply waits, rocking, mourning, sharing her endless night with anyone who lingers too long. Some ghosts want justice. Some want revenge. The Gray Lady only wants you to understand what it feels like to lose everything over and over and over, forever. And if you stay long enough in Willowbrook after dark, she will make sure you do.